Well, good morning, everyone. Jamie McIntyre here on behalf of the Australian National Review, and here I am shooting live from my farm studio in northern New South Wales. This is northern New South Wales, 6 hours above Sydney in Australia. Just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the madness that's still going on in this world with the coronavirus scam. If you're not sure it's a scam yet, well, you've been scammed. Your governments and taxpayers have been scammed billions and billions of dollars. Thank you, my love, for joining on this episode. And I've covered that in many episodes, but, I just want to talk a little bit about what's going on in Victoria. The border's been locked. Victoria has become the pariah state of Australia because they're getting all of these cases. But let's just cut through the bullshit, shall we? I mean, I've done many videos here over the last 4 months. I was one of the earliest to call out, and so was A&R, that the coronavirus is a scam. It's a planned-demic. It's a planned scam. And if anyone wants to challenge me on that, or any of the experts that are highlighting this, well, then really you might want to do your research before you try and challenge that, because it's a complete and utter scam. So bad now, like they're testing, going around forcibly testing people in Victoria. Now, I know this has been happening in America and other things, but here's how scams work. Let me tell you, it's all psychology. It's all propaganda. It's very clever, but it's very simple. But humans have been conditioned to believing lies. The easiest way to get away with scam, tell really big lies. That's like that Hitler often talked about, People believe the really big lies. People suspect little lies because everyone tells, little white lies here and there. They don't suspect the big lie. And the reality is most people's lies is based on a lie. They'll solve the lie, first of all, go to school, work really hard, get good grades, get a really good job, and live happily ever after. I mean, that's the lie. The lie that you get traditional government-provided education and university and you'll be successful. That's a lie. It's an education myth. It's, it's a scam to sell, courses, highly expensive seminars run by the government. It doesn't mean there's no value in that and you can't get an education, but most people's real education begins after school or university or on the job. So academia does not mean intelligence, and unfortunately, a lot of people with academia actually are the ones that fall for scams easier. So here's how scams work. Global warming scam. So people are busy, don't have the time to research, so what they do is go, global warming scam theory, must be true because, yes, humans are damaging the environment. Therefore, humans are damaging the environment, the global warming theory must be true. Now, that's not a correct meaning to attach. Yes, it is true. So they highlight part truths. It is true. Us humans are damaging the environment and we should do something about that. But that doesn't mean we should necessarily believe that the global warming theory is absolutely true without doing a lot of detailed research. And if you do detailed research, you realize it's an unproven theory and it's been politicized and taken over and used to achieve certain agendas. Now, and I'll highlight in a minute when we talk about the different scams they're running, they all have the same agenda, okay? Well, let me cover it now. The global warming agenda, the hoax of that, is to push forward a new one world order, which is a socialist new one world order. And if you're not sure what socialism means, it's the first step to communism, Marxism. And, don't dispute that. It just is. If you want to live in a communistic world, great. Fuck off then. And don't live where the rest of us want to live. Go to a communist country. But, we don't, okay? We don't support that. We don't support Marxism. It is bullshit. It's a virus. Communism is a disease, okay? I don't support it. Neither should you. Those who think it gives them a warm, funny feeling, then go and live somewhere where it's a communist country, okay? Create your own state. Not here in Australia. We don't want communism. It should be outlawed, banned. Nada. Any parties that support Marxism, gone. Okay, so my point is that Socialist New World agenda, which has been in the planning for a long time, they hijacked the global warming theory to push that agenda. Once again, the idea of having United Nations or one world government, remove your national sovereignty, and which they've been planning and working on, take charge. To have a one world government, you need a one world tax, and that's what the carbon tax was, and that's what they want, the power of that tax revenue. Same people pushing the same agenda, George Soros, Clinton, co., all behind this dodgy movement, raping and pillaging billions from the government, because those that are behind this are very good at extracting billions of dollars of your money through your naive and stupid governments that fall for these scams so easily. So we're also pressured to believe scams because it's politically correct to want to look after the environment. So therefore, if you don't believe in the global warming theory, then you are politically incorrect and you don't care for the environment. Now, that is complete and utter bullshit. Because I care deeply for the environment. That's why I don't fall for the global warming theory, because it takes all the money and resources and puts it aside for socialistic, communistic agendas, which doesn't help the fucking environment. Make sense? So how do people fall for scams? It's very simple. Global warming scam, they fell for it because they go, yeah, but we are damaging the environment, therefore it must be true. Incorrect meaning we've attached to that. Let's try the coronavirus scam. Let me see if you can figure out how and why. The average person that's not stupid, they're intelligent human beings, yet they fall for the big lies in society. How they fall for it? The coronavirus scam. But people are dying. Therefore, it must be true. Makes sense? That's how they fall for it. So all you have to do is convince people are dying of the coronavirus, and they fall for it. Now, this is, in the beginning, I can understand. We all fell for it. We thought maybe this is some gigantic, dangerous virus that's going to wipe out humanity. Then we quickly realized it's not, and we should never, ever believe anything in the media ever again, because anything in the media is a fucking lie. If you haven't figured out that yet, keep taking more injections of mainstream media and remain a junkie and brain dumbed down individual. I mean, the world cannot afford for you and your individuals to be dumb. We need critical thinkers. We need the people to be able to see bullshit when you see it, for Christ's sakes. Society depends upon critical thinking. Doesn't depend upon people being led down a garden path and falling for such scams. But the funny thing is, the people that fall for these scams question everything else. They never question what they're told on the mainstream media, but they will question everything else. Make sense? So what happens is that people hear and told people, all these people are dying, the coronavirus, therefore it must be true. So, however, who's telling you all these people are dying? 130,000 people in America have died of the coronavirus. No, they haven't. That's a lie. Months and months ago, the first assessment in Italy of the death rates, the National Health Institute of Italy did an assessment of about 6,000 deaths and quickly were able to ascertain publicly verifiable information for those who think this is a conspiracy theory. It's the people that believe the conspiracy theories pushed by mainstream media that think everything else is a conspiracy theory. You notice that? The biggest conspiracy theories are pushed by mainstream media, and most people swallow them, believe them, without ever doing any detailed thinking. Because why? It's politically correct. Because if you question coronavirus, you only care about the economy. You don't want lockdowns and committing economic suicide because you just care about money and you don't care about people. Once again, it's bullshit, but it's peer pressure to make you, because most people too innately want to fit in with the herd because they were bullied at school and they don't want to be embarrassed and they don't have the balls and courage to be a leader and stand up and go, I don't give a fuck what people think. If you can't see the truth and fall for all these scams, global warming scam, coronavirus scam, then that's a lot of it because subconsciously you're scared of people making fun of you. That's why they hire trolls to go on Facebook and anyone that highlights an unofficial narrative, and they try and make you and bully you. And like, really, intelligent people can't be bullied by morons in troll Facebook communities where they post links and have them all go and attack. Now, if you're a troll out there and you're not getting paid by Gates and Soros, you are a moron and you are the dumbest of the dumb. True? If you're going to be a troll from your mummy's basement, keyboard warrior, at least get fucking paid by them. Unless you want to join Antifa, where they're bitching too because, they've been protesting and ripping up the streets in America, and George Soros hasn't been paying them like he promised. But anyhow, that's the thing we'll come to in a moment. So people fall for the scam. So National Health Institute in Italy quickly was able to assess 88% of people, they said they died of the coronavirus in Italy, did not die of the coronavirus. Only 12% did, and those 12% needed more investigation. The others all had 2, 3, 4 comorbidities. You notice this? Even leading pathologists are coming out going, well, there's something very sus about this because a flu, if it was just as bad as a bad flu, which it's not, the death rate's going to come in below a bad flu. I told you this 3 or 4 months ago that this would be proven. Now the evidence is there, publicly verifiable information, even on the CDC website, that it won't even be as bad as a bad flu. Even with the inflated death rates, and they're inflated by 88%, according to the National Health Institute, I'd say 90% to round that off, it's coming in at 0.26%. Now, if you adjust that down to the correct death rate, and that's not allocating for how many more people actually might have this the coronavirus, if it even exists, that is would drop it to 0.026%. I mean, it's so low. You know, if you read and check on your government websites, UK government, for example, downgraded this from a highly infectious disease back on March 19th, pretty much before the lockdowns commenced. So once again, the coronavirus is a scam. You've been scammed tens of billions of dollars by your governments. Get scammed by guess who? The World Health Organization, which is overrun by the vaccine companies, drug makers. If you're not aware of that, well, go and check out public and verifiable information. European Union passed a motion in 2010 highlighting that. Dangerous levels of influence by the vaccine makers, and they tried to hype a normal flu strain in 2010 into a pandemic, and they were caught out, so they changed the definition of pandemic. So next time they try this little scam, which happened to be in 2020, it would be deemed a pandemic, which means all the governments that are members of WHO around the world have to send billions of dollars to guess who, to the drug companies, for vaccines, grants, research, medical supplies, etc. So they're already, why are you trying to figure out if you've been scammed by the coronavirus? Your government's already been scammed, and now the guess who is asking for $301 billion more to fight this coronavirus. Well, that's your money, folks, taxpayers' money, for a scam. Very profitable scam. So, my God, it's so easy. Just tell a big lie. If you tell little lies, people will be sus about it. Tell a big lie. But people are dying. It must be true. Well, no, it's not true. People die all the time. It's a reclassification of deaths. If this is a real pandemic, why do they have to falsify deaths? Why did the flu death rates plummet like this as the death rates are going up for the coronavirus? I could go on and on about this. All this is publicly verifiable. If you haven't done your research and still think the coronavirus, you're going to die of the coronavirus, then you're a moron. I'm sorry, you're a fucking moron. I mean, wake the fuck up before you don't have a civilized society to live in. You know, my God, we can't have intelligent people being dumb. I'm sorry this is news to you that it's a scam, but prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, you know? It's people are like, oh, no, it's on the news, it must be true. But everything else is a scam. Everything else is conspiracy theory. Oh, those people are crazy. Like, really? Really? Come on. Wake the fuck up. Like, I'm getting very frustrated with dumb people. I'm sure many of you know what I'm talking about. So then we moved on to the Black Lives Matter. My God, Black Lives Matter. I mean, is that not a racist slogan anyhow? And I'm not even fucking racist, but really, once again, another scam. So good feeling people think, too trusting and go, oh yeah, Black lives really do matter and we should support black people. Yeah, great. Support black people. Support all people. Everyone's lives matter. Children's lives matter. White people's lives matter. Black people's lives matter. I mean, who gives a fuck about the color of your skin? Only racist people. Get the fuck over that. It's designed to divide you. It's nothing about black lives. The people, once again, that are pushing the coronavirus scam, that are pushing the global warming scam, are also pushing the Black Lives Matter scam. Do you think they give a fuck about black people? Do you think they give a fuck about white people? Do you think they give a fuck about children? They don't. So I'm sorry if I'm swearing, but if you can't handle some curse words, your world is being taken over by a bunch of pedophile elite, a bunch of dickhead wankers that don't give a fuck about black people, don't give a fuck about white people, don't give a fuck about children, don't give a fuck about you. So why are you supporting them? Why are you supporting them? How you support them? By not knowing the truth, by not doing some basic research. Black Lives Matter. It's another scam. Antifa, domestic terrorist organization funded by George Soros and co. Now, so what they do overseas, they don't like a president, they don't like democracy, right? So the deep state, they don't like a president of a country. So what they do is send in domestic terrorists in amongst the normal peaceful protesters, and those normal peaceful protesters in America believe they're doing the right thing, you know, upset about, you know, what happened. And that's all legitimate, right? But then they send them in and they cause chaos and anarchy and violence to make it look like the president of the country it's out of control and people hate him. And that's how then they try and remove the president and put a puppet in place. Now, I don't care what your political persuasion is. If you have an issue with your president in America of his hairstyle or his personality, then that's your fucking problem. But if you're going to throw away your democracy based on someone's hairstyle or personality, then you're a fucking idiot. And now in America, they want to put in a puppet. Who's the puppet? The poor old guy that's just biding his time for Hillary Clinton to take over. Excuse the pun. Poor, sleepy, creepy Joe Biden. The guy has dementia. He can't even fucking hold a sentence together. No offense. He's probably a great man, but he's really, come on. We've had puppets before, but if you put a puppet in place that even is a clearly puppet that's not even going to be able to speak properly as a leader of the greatest nation on the planet. I mean, they're putting it right in your face. They're putting a puppet. They want a puppet in place. Now, I don't care if you hate Trump or don't like Trump, but beggars can't be choosers. Democracy, there is a war going on in this world right now, and your way of life, if you think your way of life is going to stay the way it is, the Western world, without you getting clear and defending it and speaking out, then you're kidding yourself. You are being taken over right now. This one world agenda is taking over the world, and if you don't speak up, then if you don't mind living in a communist totalitarian state where you're a dictator too, you can't even leave your fucking state and cross a border without papers. You can't even leave your suburb without papers. You can't even leave without someone wanting to forcibly test you for some fake virus that can't even kill anyone unless they're all on their deathbed in an aged care home where they neglect it. And we don't even care for the elderly. We just neglect them, leave them there. I mean, you're kidding yourself. If you really believe this, it's as a scam. For communism to work, they have to destroy businesses. To do that, they have to destroy the economy. That's why they hate business people. Because think about it, to become a business person, you had to be a rebel. You question at school. Hang on, I don't want to conform to what they're trying to conform to me at school. They often drop out of university because they're critical thinkers. They can see through the bullshit and they go out and they build a business. That's what being a rebel is. You're a leader. To be a business person, you have to be a leader. You have to be able to think for yourself. You have to be able to see through bullshit or you're never going to make it. So they're the first people they want to wipe out because they want those people to have to rely on government handouts. If you get people relying on government handouts, you can put communism in place and easily control the masses. And now with technology, with the vaccine chips that are coming, all these sort of things that sound like wild conspiracy theories, but if you check, the information's publicly verifiable. You can go and validate all these things. Can you validate the theory that's pushed by mainstream media that this virus is super deadly, pandemic's going to wipe out everyone, we have to commit economic suicide and all this? There is more lies told about the coronavirus than any truth. So the truth is, it's not that deadly. The truth is, in Victoria today, how many people caught the flu? You don't know, you don't care, it's never listed in the paper. How many people pass the flu on to other people? And the flu is actually proven to be deadly. Not just to sick people. But you're not worried about that, are you? Do you realize if you're not on your deathbed or an aged home, elderly and dying, the chances of dying of the coronavirus, you have more chance of having a car accident, more chance of dying from smoking cigarettes, more chance of being struck by lightning. And here we are locking down our economies and worried about this. Do you realize the tests are up to 8